5:30. I am going to call to order the regular meeting of the Nashoba Regional School Committee. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So you guys can all mute and rise if you choose and recite after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So first matter is new business, and it is to approve the preliminary design program and accept the recommendation of the Nrsd School Building Committee that we do so. And I think that it would probably be prudent to start with a motion. And I turn to you, Mr. Horish. Hello. And if you could read that motion for us.
Yes. It doesn't seem to be on my list of motions. So can you just repeat it one more time? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I can read it. You want me to make the motion?
Sure.
I have it.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Let's see. So I move to approve the preliminary design program and accept the recommendation of the Nrsd School Building Committee to authorize Skanska USA, the owner's project manager, to submit the preliminary design program, otherwise known as the PDP, to the Massachusetts School Building Authority, or MSBA, on behalf of the Nashoba Regional School District no later than June 27th, 2022. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Amy. So let's open this up to any discussion or questions that anybody may have about this PDP, if there are any. If you could just repeat to the committee something that you said to the school building committee last night about, at its essence, what this submission is.
I'll do my best, Madam Chair, and I invite Mr. Gleason to correct me if I get any of these pieces wrong. But this PDP submission is essentially a proof of concept to the MSBA to show that indeed we can move forward into the next phase of the school building project, because we've been able to, through all the things we've updated the community on throughout the springtime, been able to deduce that it is plausible to build a high school that meets the educational plan as written in the PDP on the current site of Nashoba Regional High School. It is not a precursor of the building. There's no schematic design to it or anything like that. It's just a proof of concept so that we can move forward to the next process.
Joe, did you want to add anything to that?
I'll make it very brief because this is a very short meeting. I'm not going to really add anything too much to what the Superintendent Downing had said, but the PDP is essentially, and I like to refer to it as basically a status report. And what it does is it encompasses all of the work that has been done, not just by the school building committee, but by our working groups and by our designers as well. And there has been an immense amount of work that's been happening behind the scenes with regards to our designers who have been on site dealing with the current conditions, talking to our faculty and staff and what have you. And this is basically just brings the MSBA up to speed with where we are at this point. So there's nothing earth-shattering in the PDP. It's simply just a status report of where we are at present with this build project. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, indeed. So do we have any questions before we proceed to a vote? I should say that this is as a result of the school building committee voting yes, and now we are just going ahead with their recommendation to approve. All right, so let's go to a vote. I vote yes. Joe?
Yes.
Amy Vessels? I saw you say yes. I can't hear you though, Amy. Yeah, it's not working. Okay. Karen Devine?
Yes.
Steve? Steve, did you say yes? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you finally. I don't know what to.
Yeah.
Steve, can you hear me?
I can hear you too.
Okay, great. Do you want to vote yes or no?
Sure, yes.
All right. Mike,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Amy Cohen,
Yes.
Rich.
Yes.
Very good. So that is unanimous. We appreciate that vote. And I'm going to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is adjournment. Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
So as you guys know, before I move to adjourn, we are doing 2 meetings tonight. The reason why we're adjourning is so that the minutes of this meeting can be certified and then sent to the MSBA to kind of wrap up that PDP. They need the minutes of this meeting to be attached. So we're going to adjourn this meeting. Nobody go anywhere. And then I will reopen meeting 2 right afterward. So at this point, I am going to move to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
And
Thanks, Joe. And let's take the vote. So Amy Vessels, maybe a thumbs up if you say yes. All right. Myself, yes. Joe,
Yes.
Karen,
yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Amy Cohen,
Yes.
and Rich.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, everybody. So we are adjourned from meeting 1. And it seems, Kirk, before I open the second meeting, it seems like I am missing Kevin only in the waiting room.
Yeah. So we could just refrain. Why don't we wait to get into executive session to discuss any parties that may be attending?
And just pause.
Yeah. And we'll just pause once we're in executive session, but I don't think we would want to talk about any of the parties outside of executive session.
I am going to call our meeting 2 to order at 6:38 p.m. We've already pledged allegiance. We will not need to do that again. But it is time for us to move into executive session. And executive session is going to have 2 purposes. And so, Mike, would you mind reading the motion to head into executive session that has both purposes?
Madam Chairman, you know what? Just
Yeah.
to be a point of order, just to be absolutely certain, I would suggest that you wait probably 90 seconds to do that. Okay, Alita's nodding her head. Okay. So she agrees with me. So I would wait 90 seconds till it's 6:40 so that you can then go ahead and announce the purpose of the executive session. Because the
Very
agenda
good.
says we start at 6:40. So Alita's nodding her head. Yes.
Need like the Jeopardy sound.
Yeah, for open meeting law, you can't start a meeting before the posted date. You can start a meeting after the posted time, but not before the posted time.
Got it.
Whose time are we going by?
Microsoft,
Whoever has 6:40 on their clock.
Apple.
Apple.
Hey, Leah, do you want me to bow out of half this session?
No,
No.
you don't.
Okay.
You don't need to do that.
Okay.
Unless Kirk disagrees.
6:40 on the clock.
No.
Got it. 6:40. So now we are gonna again call this meeting to order at 6:40. And we are going to move into executive session as our first matter of business here. In this executive session, we're going to have 2 sessions, session A and session B, for different purposes. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Horish to read the motion for us.
As a result of the timekeeping aptitude of the good people at Apple, I will move to go into executive session at 6:40 p.m. pursuant to MGL Section 30, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2 to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Superintendent of schools will include superintendent of schools in session A will include only the school committee. Should I read the second one as well?
Yes.
Okay. And pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparations for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Unit A, grievance. Session B, to include the school committee, Superintendent Downing, Anne Marie Stoiker, Principal Kyle Grady, Kevin Keaveney, and Stephanie Davis. The meeting will resume to open session at the conclusion of the executive session.
Okay, everybody, we are heading into executive session. The next item on our agenda is the superintendent contract amendment. It says vote, but we are not necessarily in need of a vote. We are just going to simply announce that the school committee is agreed to make 2 changes to the superintendent's contract. And those changes include changing the language of sick time that the superintendent can access. We have changed the contract language to allow for a 5-day buyback allowance of sick days not used at a per diem rate. And
Is it sick days or is it vacation?
I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Vacation days. Thank you. So he can roll over 5 vacation days to the next year. The contract caps that at 30 days max in any given year, and also exercise his right to buy back 5 vacation days at the per diem rate. The second change that we made to the contract is to add the superintendent, if he so chooses, an allowance to the sick bank of the district for all non-union personnel. And if he chooses to join the sick bank, he can do so by giving one of his sick days to the bank, according to the parameters that are set up by the central office.
Madam Chair, thank you very much, and the entire committee.
Our pleasure, Kirk. We want your contract to be fair, and we think that it is. So moving on to unfinished business, we are very excited to bring to a vote Superintendent Downing's strategic plan. And I am going to go to Mr. Horish for that motion.
I'll move to adopt the 2022-2027 strategic plan as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Sharon. Any discussion on this? We'll move. Oh, I see Sharon's hand.
I just have a quick question. I noticed, I can recall one place in particular that where there was a part of the initiatives, and it was like, it wasn't quite finished. It was, we will do this using this program, and then the program wasn't written in. Is that still, because that's still in the process of being selected, or is that an oversight, or?
Do you remember what section you're talking about at all, Sharon? Was it-
I think,
Yes.
Ms. Pock, are you referring to the social emotional learning section?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's that was intentionally left out because we didn't want to predetermine any curriculum measures that we're making specifically without vetting out multiple options.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move to the vote. I will vote first and I vote yes. Brett,
Yes.
Amy Vessels,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Rich,
Yes.
and Karen.
Yes.
Fantastic. So the strategic plan is voted unanimously. Good luck, Superintendent Downing. Give it over to you.
I got to tell you guys, my heart is beating kind of fast right now, because I'm thinking back to just over a year's time ago when you all were vetting a new superintendent for the school system, and I remember quite a bit hitching my wagon to we need to come in, examine the organization, and develop a 5-year strategic plan. So to come full circle now, 1 year later, and we put this into action. I got to tell you, I'm so excited for our future and so proud to be your superintendent as we move forward with this plan.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Thanks, Kirk. And as you like to call it, the sidecar to our strategic plan, we now are going to adopt the portrait of a Nashoba Regional High School graduate. And Mike, I will go to you for the motion.
In that case, I will move to adopt the Nashoba Regional High School Portrait of a Graduate as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Sharon. Any discussion on the portrait of a graduate? All right, so we'll take the vote. Brett, I'll start with you.
Yes.
Amy Vessels,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Rich,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
myself, yes, and Joe.
Yes.
Very good. Another unanimous vote, another great accomplishment. Thanks, Kirk, for all of that hard work. And, you know, I mean, you built it. Now we're going to see how it runs.
It's
And
just,
I'm-
it's, Madam Chair, pardon my interruption. I should wait to be recognized.
No, go ahead.
Tomorrow we will be wrapping up the year with our final leadership council with all of our district leaders. And before we begin our presentations, I have a half hour of presenting these 2 items to that team as official documents for our school system. So we're taking your vote tonight and we're putting it to work tomorrow. So just want to say thanks again.
Awesome. Thank you. It's exciting. All right, so now we will go to approval of the minutes. And Mike, can we, well, let me pause and just say, the June 15th minutes, you of course are, you know, have had an opportunity to view, but the June 22nd meeting 1 minutes, you have not. And so Alita has just shared her screen. Alita, do you want to just very quickly walk us through this to make sure that everybody can see what you have and if there are any questions? Unless
And-
actually, hold on, Alita. Joe, do you think we need the motion first and then, or shall we let Alita make some changes if need be and then move?
Yeah, I think you want to move to approve the minutes and then we can go to any types of alterations, modifications, deletions, what have you.
Okay, and we're gonna do the 2 minutes together. And so any discussion that you guys have, just make sure that you are pointing toward which minutes you're talking about. So Mike, go ahead and make that motion.
Sure, I'll move to approve the meeting minutes of June 15th, 2022 and June 22nd, 2022.
And I'll second that motion. All right, so Alita, you have the floor. Just move us through these minutes that you just took about an hour ago.
Really, I don't think I really have to say much other than you guys can read them and let me know if you have any revisions. Right?
Yeah. We can pretty much see everything. Just scroll down a little bit. And then one more, yep. All right, does anybody have anything that they see in this? Go ahead, Joe.
Madam Chairman, you'll be happy to know this will be our last eye-rolling moment for the school year 21-22. I think you just want to, because these are going to be certified and sent over to the MSBA. Slight amendment to your motion that we're approving the minutes of the meeting 1 of June 22nd, 2022.
Very good. That is a very friendly amendment. And Mike, do you accept that? We'll shift.
Yes, and I'll accept it without any undue eye rolling. So good for you, Joe.
Any other discussion, debate? Very exciting, wrapping this all up. So let's take the vote on the meeting minutes of the 15th and the 22nd meeting 1. Joe, to you first.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Brett,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Amy Vessels,
Yes.
Rich,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and I lost Amy Cohen, did I? Yeah, bummer. All right, everybody, so that motion passes. And that is the last piece of our agenda. So for the 21-22 school year, I am going to move to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'm giving it to Joe. I'm giving it to Joe.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That earned some eye rolling on my part.
All right, let's take that vote. Steve,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Rich,
Yes.
the only Amy in the room,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
myself, yes, and Brett.
Yes.
We are adjourned, everybody. See you at the retreat.